everyone. Hope you're enjoying the first day of BLOCKCON. It's really great to see the crypto industry coming together, and conferences are happening, and projects are moving forward. So you heard a bit about data brokerage earlier, so I'm going to further your education there today. And I'm going to let you know that data and the way it interacts with blockchain is actually going to be a major theme you're going to hear over and over again, because it is a huge problem that needs to be solved, and blockchains and cryptocurrency are the perfect platform for this. Before I dive in, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Brian. I founded my first company a few years ago. It was called undergroundseller.com. It is a wine marketplace that rewards consumer behavior with free upgrades. So this experience really taught me what it's like to influence consumer purchasing behavior with rewards and incentives. So after that, I moved into market research and data brokerage by influencing consumer behavior in our iOS application called Gambio. Users will upload receipts, give quick feedback on their experience at quick-serve restaurants, and then we would compile data and actually sell it to data brokers, or in other words, vampire squids. So data brokers actually have tons of information on all of us. So I'm going to make it a little more personal for you and show you some of the information they have on me. So you can actually log into Axiom's servers at aboutthedata.com, and you can see some of the information they have on you. So these are actually screenshots from this experience. This is some of the personal data they know about me. So I was born in 1990. I'm male. I have 3 lines of credit. I make about $100,000 to $149,000 a year. I drive a 2012 Mini Cooper. I have 2 children. I'm not so sure about the children. I actually have 0 children. So some of this is actually inaccurate. And if you take a closer look, you are able to edit or remove your data from their systems. But there's absolutely no incentive for any of us to log on and spend time looking through what a company is doing with our data and edit and remove our data to improve their processes so they can continue to resell our data and make more and more money. And they definitely make a lot of money. $200 billion a year is where we're at now. We're headed towards $300 billion a year. Currently, 70% of corporate firms are purchasing data. Forbes says by 2020, it'll be at 90%. So there's 3 very clear issues with this industry. Everything is linked to our personal identities, and this is what they do to package information, sell consumer behavior reports, and as they make all this money, there's 0 profit share to the consumer or for all of us sitting in this room. Now, although they're making all this money off of us and we don't get any of the benefits, we actually gain all of the downside. Most recently, we're all aware of the Equifax hack by now. 40% of the people sitting in this room have had their social security numbers stolen, their credit histories, where they lived. And right now, if you go into the dark web, on average, a social security number and your profile is being sold for $3. So all of that information that can really destroy your credit history and cause you tons of pain is being sold for $3 because of the way the information is being handled by firms like Equifax and Axiom. And the example we discussed recently with Axiom, their server has been hacked before. So the good news is blockchain does solve these problems. So first and foremost, we have secure identity management solutions. So rather than spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year on cybersecurity that doesn't work and having your systems continue to be compromised, what we actually have now are peer-to-peer networks that you can store your data in. And so when you create a profile, essentially all of your information is split into 3,000 different small bits of information and sent out into this peer-to-peer network where then only you can sync the info back to your local client and see what you're working with. So in addition to that, smart contracts can now automate the data exchange. So you no longer need a middleman to play God and decide what they're going to do with your data, how they're going to sell it, and how they're going to pass personal information around. Instead, you can manage all of your data locally and participate in data exchanges if you feel like it. Third, and also most important, is blockchain verifiable results. When you're purchasing data, everything's recorded on the chain, and we have the ability now to restrict personal data from crossing the blockchain and actually group everyone into demographics. So market researchers can get the information they need without having to violate your privacy. So that is what our mission is at Insights, is we want to create this trustless, decentralized market research network. And so with a lot of these projects and utility tokens coming out, the biggest question that is asked is, why would you need to issue your own token? So I'm going to explain that right now. Traditionally, when you start a two-sided marketplace, it's extremely expensive to gain your provider network that will fulfill the service needs of the other side of the marketplace, in our case, data requesters. So by issuing your own token, you can actually, traditionally you issue some to private people who back the project early. You issue tokens to the public. In our case, it would be the requesters who can hold these tokens and have access to data. But most importantly is you can create ecosystem tokens. These tokens can be used to mint the beginning of a provider network, where it's actually very simple from a migration standpoint. So I'll walk you through what a user experience looks like on our clients that we're building and show you how that would function. So before I dive into that, just to talk more about this. So providers are being directly connected to requesters who want the data. So we mint ecosystem tokens to the original providers who migrate their information into our local clients. So you can log into Axiom, and we're creating tools to then export the data automatically right into our client, and then you will receive incentive tokens for being the first to join the network. So as the network grows and more data is in the system, that's more appealing to requesters, who then can start to exchange tokens for targeted market research. So this is what a user experience would look like. It's just very simple. You have your traditional cryptocurrency wallet, but in addition, now you have a profile section. So you can add in your information. You can see clearly where you're going to be rewarded with tokens for doing so. And you pass a quick verification check that it's all real, and you'll receive tokens. Once you're in the system, now you can begin to participate in very targeted market research. So say you're a college student and you are in your early 20s, and a government polling firm wants to get feedback on how you would feel about government regulations regarding net neutrality. If you strongly agree that the government should be involved, you can confidently voice your opinion without your personal information being compromised or stored that you voted or feel a certain way, and you can answer a question and receive the tokens. Once you answer questions in the system, you're actually building out this very in-depth profile of yourself that goes beyond your demographics and into your actual opinions and thoughts on issues. So this creates the network effect, continues to grow, where there is so much more information being involved into the network, so targeting becomes far more accurate, and you can do certain things instantly that you would traditionally need to call up a data broker and take a month or two to set up a survey on. So in review, it's very simple. We're taking a central network and we're decentralizing it so that everyone has control and ownership over their own data. No more hacks will occur where entire systems will be compromised. Instead, you will just manage your own data on your own client. So abusive data exchange needs to end. When we think of who data brokers are probably selling to, you think of standard American corporations, but they actually do not really discriminate on who they're selling your data to. They sell data to foreign governments, they sell data to foreign corporations, and when they're transferring massive amounts of consumer behavior information on Americans to foreign corporations and foreign governments, that is giving the ability for these people to really understand consumers and behavior of potential adversaries that they can use that information to influence. So instead, we have a trustless and instant network where users are just swapping data on the exchange for tokens, and only demographic information is passed. So no longer will your personal info or identifying profiles be shared. And most importantly is corporate profits are turning into consumer profits. So where we're at now is we are on the EOS testnet. We are running nodes, and we have good support from their development team. EOS is debuting the full platform, target date in June. So what we plan to do is we're building the client behind the scenes now, And we're actually going to release our testing client to private beta audiences so that we can start training the user experience and testing tools to migrate data into the network. At the same time, what we want to do is we want to integrate INS rewards into our existing market research application that I told you about, which is Gambeel on iOS. So as soon as our tokens go live, they will actually be circulating into a market research network on day one. So unlike most other projects, the tokens will actually be used. You will be able to participate in market research, receive tokens, and then use these tokens to purchase or receive rewards inside of our applications. And as soon as all that's ready, we will be live. So thank you all for listening to me today. As I said earlier, this data brokerage industry is super outdated and abusive, and it absolutely is going to end over the next 3 to 10 years. Government regulations are already being proposed. In Brazil, it's actually illegal to resell your user data to a separate firm. And Congress just introduced a new bill in August called the Data Brokerage and Accountability Act. If you're passionate about this area, or you're a developer and want to join the team, or think there's any way you can get involved and be helpful, meet me in the crowd. Our CTO Darwin's also here if you want to dive into more of the technical side. He's got a huge afro, you can't miss him. And we'll chat with you guys soon. Insights.network is our website, and enjoy the rest of BLOCKCON.